Hello and welcome to the CGW Quiet Storm. I was trying something different. It didn't really work, did it?
Worked in rehearsal.
It worked in rehearsal. We got a laugh there.
Smooth jazz.
Not so much the second time. Welcome to CGW Radio for August 7th, 2006. Not really much happened this week that I could think of. Nothing of any import, but we're going to have a podcast anyway, and with me are the Computer Gaming World editors, which are as follows.
Ryan Scott, brought to you by Microsoft.
Darren Gladstone for Windows.
Sean Elliott, proudly independent, defiantly independent.
And Sean Malloy, and I don't have any addendum.
And I'm Direct Jeff 10. So we're going to talk about the big news. We'll talk about our other things, like what are you playing, and we may play a little game later that we talked about. You guys up for that game? We may spontaneously write a preview for you as we speak, round robin style.
Let you in on the process.
If there's time, just to show you how we write previews here at CGW. But first, we're going to talk about the big news that I assume everybody listening to this has heard about, which is that we sold our soul to Microsoft. And how do we feel about that, guys?
We love it.
I'm sorry, I was too busy counting my money. Yeah.
Dead silence. Okay, well, let me rephrase that, shall I? We made the big announcement that's been in the works for almost 1 year now, which is that we are rebranding ourselves, as they call it. The magazine that was Computer Gaming World will sometime in the near future be the official Games for Windows magazine. What does that mean?
Minesweeper on the cover, Solitaire 2 Blowout.
3-page review of Burble Place.
Burble Place.
You better get your facts straight before you say
I thought it was a free cell cover first.
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
man, I think I fell through.
Free cell fell
They
through.
weren't ready to talk.
I think the exclusive went to GameSpot on that one.
Those developers are bitches over in the free cell team. These guys wouldn't give us any good shots.
It was all just empty playing fields with no cards on them.
Yeah, such bullshit. Okay, we're all ready. We can't do this. Okay, so we want to talk about what this means to you, TED Gamer, what it means to us, TED journalists, and what it means for CGW, and I don't know. What does it mean? Do any of us have anything to say?
Well, there's been a lot of speculation on the web in the past week since we made the announcement, and I guess, I don't know, the one pet peeve I've had since is that a lot of people made this wrong assumption that, oh no, CGW is dead. It's all over. The legacy is done. And I don't know, it seems like it's anything but. We're just going to be in more places.
Right. Let's we could back up a teeny bit and explain what all this means. What this means.
Keep your shoes on, though, man.
I'm just pulling my socks up.
Jeff's over here pulling his
yeah.
motorcycle
I'm going to strip
boots off.
while I talk. It's a performance art thing. What happened here is that about 10 months ago now, CGW, actually folks above me at Ziff Davis, but still on the editorial staff. So this was an editorial-driven decision. Let's get a few of the basics out of the way here so people understand. This was not Microsoft buying the magazine. This was not Ziff Davis giving Microsoft money. In fact, no money, believe it or not, has exchanged hands between anyone.
Nor will it.
Nor will it. This was not a financial deal. This was how this started. It started from our end here at Ziff, and people on the senior editorial team were frustrated by CGW's newsstand presence because the feeling was that the magazine had made great strides editorially and was actually better than ever. And this is not me just blowing smoke up my own tush, but this was actually the way it was described. And they believed in the magazine more than they ever had, and they wanted it to appear on more newsstands. For those who don't know, we actually make most of our money and we have most of our readers from subscribers, whereas on the newsstand, not so much. So the idea was, well, let's give CGW a better newsstand presence. The problem is and was that once you have a certain newsstand reputation, it's hard to get beyond that. So in other words, if Target says well, Target, do they carry magazines? Whatever. Let me come up with a better
They got
example.
magazines.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They do?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, that's a good.
Target says, well, we take 2 copies of CGW a month, okay, and we sell those too. Even if Ziff Davis is all gung-ho about CGW, you can't go back to them and say, hey, take 10 now, they're better, because Target will just say, no, we're happy with the 2. So we had basically hit a wall, newsstand-wise, because of that. And so we started scheming, well, what could we do? What can we do to increase CGW's profile? What can we do to take this magazine that we know is good, that we know readers are going to like, but actually get it out there? And so the scheme was hatched to to come up with an official, or to have CGW get this official tag in the same way that OPM had become the official Sony magazine for PlayStation, and OXM was the official magazine for Xbox. The thought was, well, why can't the PC have an official magazine, and why can't that be us? And this happened to coincide happily with Peter Moore, the head of Microsoft's Interactives division, his plan to increase the profile of the PC as a gaming platform. So it was sort of a happy synchronicity between these two things. Am I boring you guys?
No.
Need
okay.
more jokes, man.
More jokes? I know. I'm sorry. This is a history lesson part of the podcast.
This is good. This is what everyone wants to hear.
I just want the straight story to be out there, because there is a lot of rumor and innuendo and basically misunderstanding. So I want everybody to get this. We approached Microsoft and we said, hey, we have this idea. You guys are interested in making the PC more legit as a gaming platform, and we have this great PC gaming magazine that we think can help you out. And so it was basically seen as a win-win for both parties here. Microsoft would be able to have this magazine that they could say represent, that would further sort of add to this message that they were taking PC gaming more seriously, and we would have the official branding that would give us extra legitimacy and, more importantly, exposure on newsstands, which is what we want. If you write for a living, the most important thing to you is that people can actually find your articles to read them. So those of us who spend every day here working hard are frustrated that when we get mail from you guys, which we do all the time, saying, I can't find CGW anywhere. Well, that gets really old after a while. We want you to find CGW. We want you to find our articles because we spend a lot of time working on them. So we made this deal, and that's basically what it boils down to. Part of the deal, if we wanted to be their official magazine, was we had to take the official name of the platform, which fortunately or unfortunately is Games for Windows.
It is so sexy.
We could have a more interesting name. It's true. I might argue that Computer Gaming World, not the most dynamic name.
It's an old name.
But it has been a name for 25 years, so there's that. But when we were first talking to Microsoft about this, a lot of us here were arguing, well, can't we just be Computer Gaming World, the official Windows gaming magazine? Can't we keep our own name? And, of course, that's what we would like to do, because none of us here in this room here, I think, are happy about the CGW name going away. But that was the hard part of the deal for us, was we lose the name. We lose the name, but we gain a ton of potential readers, which is all anybody in the magazine business ever wants. That is kind of your boring history lesson of how it went down. And you guys...
And there was that gleeful moment where we were throwing our own names around, thinking that we would be able to, that it would fly for us to call it whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
I was hyped for WASD, which will be my own private zine. WASD, yeah.
Right.
Will be my zine name now.
I'll be Blue Screen.
Yeah. Blue Screen of Death.
That'll sell well. That's like a dartboard. That's not a magazine name, dude.
GPF, man. General Protector Fault.
Maybe the back page can be Blue Screen of Death now.
Control-Alt-Delete of the month for, the worst game.
Yeah, so, the other big question, of course, is... I was about to burp.
Please don't.
Sorry.
I
was a little bit of a burp. We might have to edit that out.
I'm going to have to report that error now.
and we were so trying to be highbrow, and man, we were close.
Let's talk about the big thing, the impartiality issue. Okay, because obviously that is the question. It's certainly not a new question. This is the question that the guys at OPM and OXM face all the time. Are we going to be beholden to Microsoft now? Does this mean that Zoo Tycoon 3 is going to get 6 out of 5 stars now from us? Are we going to be afraid to say how we feel? Is Microsoft going to tell us what to write or pressure us or control us? These are all the questions that we're getting. I really don't want to do a monologue here, so somebody else talk.
Answer him, Darren.
What? How about reviews chief? How's that? Reviews honcho,
I guess
Ryan
that
Scott.
makes sense. Well, the answer is no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So all those questions? Wait a minute.
All those questions, no.
I mean, we have we drew up this big, huge 20-page legal contract, and that's actually part of the deal. Is that
Right.
Microsoft cannot interfere with our editorial decisions.
We're
Right.
100% editorial and
So no.
editorially independent.
We are not required to like Microsoft products, and we will tell you.
I mean, we've had a pretty
When we
consistent
don't.
history of it. Age 3, we were the only people that actually called out,
Right.
that game for what it was.
That's right. We gave Age of Empires 3 just about the lowest score it got.
And we got endless amounts of crap from both Microsoft and Ensemble
Right.
about that, right?
And then we reviewed the patch and did it again.
Right.
second
We gave the patch probably a worse review.
I think so.
But the cool and important part of that is that that's part of what Microsoft respects, and that's partially why they went with us. Actually, I didn't really tell the rest of the story on the deal. Was that we came to Microsoft and we proposed this deal, and we even made a mock cover. Back then, it had a cooler name than Games for Windows Magazine, but whatever we called it. Oh, actually, we just called
It's
it
like
Windows
Windows
Gaming
Gaming?
Magazine. Yeah. Okay, slightly better. At least it didn't say 4. It's that 4 that's the killer.
Yeah.
What other magazine has 4 in the title? Food for Eaters. I don't know. It's just
Weddings for you.
There's a couple adult
Weddings for
magazines that might
brides.
have that, but
yeah.
For him.
and
FHM.
We don't want to talk about that.
FHM, yeah, there you go.
yeah, but that's an acronym.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
So we mocked up these covers, and Microsoft said, "Oh man, this is a great idea. This is awesome. Thanks. Yeah, we'll get back to you in a little while and see if we got a deal here." And then they went away for a while, and when they came back, they said, "This is such a great idea that we're actually going to take it and we're going to float it out there to various publishers and see if they're interested too. And then you guys can bid on it," which is standard operating procedure in any business. It's like an architectural contract, right? You get bids for who wants to do this deal. And so Microsoft put this out there to different publishers, and luckily for us, they chose us. And the reason that they cited, and again, this isn't just me BSing, they'll actually say it publicly themselves, is because of our editorial content. They felt that we had the smartest and best content, and that's what they wanted to be part of. That's what they wanted to represent PC gaming. And that includes our policy of being, pretty tough on games. So Microsoft isn't really interested in just doing a snow job magazine. And in fact, if that's all they wanted to do, they have the money that they could have done that themselves. If they just wanted an in-house organ to speak the Microsoft party line, they were perfectly capable of doing that. What they really wanted was a solid, smart, independent voice on PC gaming.
So now what we're asking is, having said all this, is that people give us the benefit of the doubt and wait and see and then judge themselves. So if all of a sudden in the magazine, CGW, which is moving to Games for Windows, you start seeing, just because a game's on the cover, we start saying, hey, this is probably the next World of Warcraft killer. We say this is a likely contender for Game of the Year. None of these things that we've ever said, things that we just don't do in our editorial. If that kind of stuff starts popping up, then you've got a case against us.
That's
at
right.
least a concrete case.
Yeah, I think.
And I'm convinced that's. I mean, each of us have our own watches. I'm in, doing radar, and none of that's going to happen under mine. Ryan's got his. Darren's got his.
I think we all have pretty level heads on it. And when it comes down to it, when you see the new magazine come out, it's going to be the same damn magazine. It's just going to look a little better and it's going to have a different logo, but it's all the same people involved.
Right. So let's talk about that. Microsoft, we made this deal. We drew up a contract, and now we're about to make a redesigned magazine here with a new name. But in fact, it's all the same editors. It's the 5 of us sitting at this table. It's the same art team, and we're basically making the same magazine. I mean, we've been meeting about it because this is our opportunity to do things differently if we wanted to. But in fact, we're coming back, and we're pretty much going to have everything that readers already expect.
I mean, any changes we do will be on our own. They'll be of our own initiative and this and that. But like you say, we don't want to come around and do an about face, especially when we know we have a bunch of loyal readers now, and we want to show them that, hey, we're definitely the same people. We're up to the same things, and that, any new things we introduce are things that we'd have wanted to introduce regardless of what we're branded,
That's right. In fact, we haven't received not one shred of either order or even request from Microsoft as what to do. They're basically like, well, keep doing what you're doing, guys.
Right. I mean, it's just here's our logo, and
the logo and the name is the one thing that they're foisting on us. I totally think you're right. The proof's going to be in the pudding with what we do here, but I think all five of us here are the type of people that would basically, probably walk if we started getting, I mean, if I come to one of you and go, hey, this preview of Flight Sim 10 is good, but you really could be pushing it a little harder, Sean.
Right.
I was talking to Bill Gates the other day, and he doesn't like the angle you're taking here.
And those are things we're used to dealing with those. It's not going to come out of the blue because it doesn't take Microsoft branding to have to worry about these kind of issues in the games enthusiast press. So a lot of times you got a story with someone, again, don't get nervous, anyone around the table. I'm not naming names, companies, or anything, but they will say, we've got this idea. We have these goals for this product. And it's always in terms of promotion and product, whereas we see things in a much different light, right? And sometimes things will get pushy, and they'll say, well, we're not going to give you this if you're not in keeping with this. And every single time a scenario like that has arisen, we've said, okay, well, we respect that. We're just going to drop the coverage on it. We can't operate under those conditions.
Right.
And then in more cases than not, almost all cases, they turn around and say, okay, that's fine. We'll do it this way or that.
I actually can't think of any case where where they said, okay, they just walked away from the table altogether.
Right. I mean, you hear about it in the building, certain, when offers are made for first review covers and stuff like that. That's something we're entirely free from because we don't do first reviews partially for that reason. But we've all heard the cases where hey, we're not going to commit to give X company the first look if you can't tell us what the score is going to be in advance.
Right.
That's just all stuff that CGW has nothing to do with, and we're not going to have anything to do with it. And so it's not. But being exposed to those kind of pressures isn't going to be something new either. We've all got excellent track record in dealing with it, that sort of thing, and not that Microsoft's going to do it. I mean, we have no reason to believe they will, but just in general, trying to reassure people.
There's a good chance.
Don't worry.
There's a good chance that they might, right? Just like every other game company does, like you said. Sometimes we'll try to make a deal for a cover, and we'll get the deal, and they'll say, well, we really think that the cover should show this because that's what we're trying to push, and we have to say, yeah, well, guess what? It's our magazine.
Right.
If you want the coverage, then we make the cover. And it's entirely possible that 6 months down the line or a year down the line, someone at Microsoft's going to say, hey, we're really trying to push Rise of Nations 3, and we'd really like a cover on that. Well, that's going to be kind of, as far as I'm concerned, a case of the game better damn be good then and worth our while.
Right.
And if it's not, screw it.
You hear that,
and
Darren hear that sort of thing plenty with looking at features, but from other companies, hey, we've got this game. You've got to look at it. It's great. We're really interested in promoting it. And what you do now is you say, well, let's have a look at it, see what's going on, what's the context, and then you just make that decision. But entirely based on your own, hairs
judgment.
on your own neck.
Right.
No, that's the way it's going to stay.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I don't want us to sound. I mean, I don't know how we're sounding here, but I don't want it to sound like we're being defensive or that we're protesting too much. But it's just that. This is what's the story of our life for the last week.
Right.
And we knew it was going to be a big deal. And so if you're listening and you're dismayed by what's happened here and you can't believe even what we're, even after hearing all this, you still think we're just sellouts. I hear you. I think we all do. We all understand what this means. And again, what we're saying is just, don't write us off yet. See the issue, see the first issues, and see for yourselves if we're holding up or not. But you have to look at it as not just one evil corporation, made a deal with another evil corporation. What you have here is you have, 5 guys who are basically just like you, who play games. We just happen to do it for a living, and we're interested only in talking about those games and telling the truth about those games and having fun with them and joking around. I don't know what that was. That was Microsoft listening in. Yeah. We have a problem in Sector 5. Jeff Green's mouthing off.
Customer service to the sex transformation chamber.
And, we're all the conspiracy stuff just doesn't actually relate at all to our day-to-day existence here. And if you, a listener, were on our magazine, you'd be in the same position,
but
too.
It's an interesting position for us to find ourselves in, because I think that there is an innate and very healthy skepticism for anything branded official. In the same way that, say, all of a sudden, Car and Driver is suddenly a Ford automaker's official Car and Driver.
Actually,
I mean,
you would take any article with a grain of salt.
Actually, that's something I was just talking to some random people about this over the weekend, and I think that to the enthusiast, readers who, the hardcore gamers, the official doesn't have quite the street cred. But when you look to the mainstream readers, I guess, more people who can just reach Our Magazine can reach that, rather.
Yeah.
They actually turn to that and go, oh, it's the official magazine. I want to read that one.
Yeah, well, that's the feedback we got in focus groups from folks who don't read gaming.
It's like the official Marvel superheroes.
You know what?
It's not the head show in Mexico Spider-Man that's got purple webbing. It's like the official Marvel superheroes.
He is muy caliente from what I hear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that we're not going to lose our longtime readers who we love. I'm gonna understand it if we do. If people just I can't handle the branding or whatever. There we go,
dude. If you do another Buttercup,
now we have the old CGW is still going to be there.
Microsoft isn't going to let me do that.
Clearly, this guy is not on Microsoft's payroll of this kind of PR. A Buttercup every 10 minutes now?
I can't have Diet Coke before we podcast. I think that's
disgusting.
I don't know. I mean, well, I'm just going to throw this one in. I mean, I've been reading the magazine since issue 2, and it broke my heart a little knowing that the name had to change. But in the end, I think it's going to be for the best. And I mean, we're going to keep ourselves honest, but it's also the job of the readers to stick with us and keep us honest.
Right.
And as long as you keep the dialogue open, just tell us.
It is. Yeah, it's going to be interesting though, because say, for example, Microsoft Game Studios' next game is legitimately and truly stellar.
Don't even get.
We are always going to be in these binds because of it. And,
then we
that's
give it the PC
trade-off.
Gamer.
That's what comes.
I'm
with
so
it.
scared of that.
You'll see it. Metacritic and all these other things will shore us up in these cases. Mm-hmm. But it's just something that we all. I mean, that's the price that comes with officialdom. You know.
Well, we'll just overcompensate and give it a shitty review. We don't care what they say.
That's right. The H3 expansion is going to suck no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, you do set yourself up for ad hominems. In a way where they become,
Well, it must happen with OPM and OXM all the time, right?
It's got to be, interesting to those guys too, especially at OPM. I mean, I can't vouch for the other guys. I don't follow them too closely, but I know in OPM they interview Microsoft people. They're very harsh, and they had a cover story on why the PSP is bombing. So clearly they have, in my perspective and what I've read, they have a pretty good track record of making it clear that they're not, on Sony's payroll.
And, in fact, my understanding is that PSM has a better relationship with Sony.
They do. Actually,
exactly.
It's kind of funny. There's still this perception that OPM is totally on the take as because they're official. I remember I got a call of all things from a reader asking me a question and then brought up OPM and they thought that OPM is not trustworthy. I'm like, what are you
But that's going to happen to us every day for the rest of our lives.
The official word.
And in the same way that all of our rival publications are going to rebrand themselves as the
fiercely independent,
unadulterated, unswayed,
right.
But again, the proof is in the pudding. I think when the time comes, you can compare us page for page, and I'm absolutely convinced that certain things are going to be pretty obvious.
So am I. I don't think anybody in this room here is gonna start, sucking up to Microsoft. And if they do, then
well, I have a down payment on a raise. I have a down payment on a house.
Microsoft's awesome.
Yeah. Ryan's the one with the career advancement in place. What do you think, Microsoft? What do you think, Ryan? Microsoft, Ryan.
It's obviously we're not antagonistic toward them, but not any more or less than any other company that we've been working with. Sorry.
There's
Freudian slip.
You didn't hear anything.
Huh?
Said you didn't hear anything.
But I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of reminding that we are in a certain mode right now where we've had the past 4 days to stew in the worst the internet can throw at us, and so we are kind of in a defensive mode right now.
Right.
Especially some of us. I mean, you've been on, you've been in touch with all this from the beginning, and some of us like me, it's kind of like I come back from visiting on the cover story, and then all this is blowing up, and I'm getting all these aims from other people in the industry that I'm friends with, and they're all like, Darren, when we were away in an undisclosed city on this cover story, his what is it? Sidekick starts blowing up, hey man, why'd you sell it? But everyone's asking me, like, how do you feel about it? And it's because the people that are writing me and know me are assuming that, like, because of my temperament, my way of working, that I'm going to be fundamentally opposed to it. So they're all writing me these sort of like condolence things, like, "Hey, man, are you
I've been
looking
getting
for
the same
work?"
thing.
Hey, wait a second! You're making me sound like everyone thought it was going to be a sellout. You son of a bitch.
Well, we know Darren's okay with this because he'll probably get a free Xbox out of the deal.
They're just sending you like, "Hey, man, can you get me a copy of what's that?
I'm going to copy of Halo 2. Oh, 99 Nights.
I've basically spent the last 6 days just like searching all over for message boards, bringing the hate to us and trying to talk to people. And I only lost my cool, once, twice?
Like twice, maybe.
3 times.
Yeah.
A moron.
It wasn't even that bad.
Yeah. But, it's nothing we didn't expect. This is a big, big deal for longtime readers of CGW. We know that. I guess I should also say I had a pretty nice exchange with Johnny Wilson, who was not the first editor-in-chief. Actually, it was the second, but I think he's the name most closely associated with CGW's past. And he had been interviewed for a website who I don't want to name by name because I can't stand them. But he offered words that were, they were a little kind of bitter about Ziff Davis selling out the name in a way. I shouldn't say sell because there was not money, but getting rid of the name CGW. And he and I had a back and forth about it over email, and we basically got his best wishes. I mean, he certainly is a businessman among all other things, and he understands the good that this means for us. Because when he was here, we were already behind the 8-ball newsstand wise, and he understands what this means. Also, I should say that really you can think of it. Any PC gamer can see this as kind of a cool thing for PC games, right? I mean, you've got Microsoft, first of all, on their own, trying to pump up the platform and make it more legit.
Pump up the platform.
Play.
And having an official mag is part of that. It's a way of sort of just like elevating this to the level of Xbox and PS2, which those of us who've been PC gamers forever appreciate.
Elevate the art form even higher yet, like sculpture to Chia Pet.
Yeah,
That's exactly
is
what's
he
happening.
mocking me?
I had to throw that out there.
I
Shout out for Chia Pets.
I've probably overly blabbed here about this topic.
No, I think
it's
this
you
is
wanna know
the
about
hot
it.
topic right now. I mean, you could tell us about Ryan could tell us about Guild Wars, or we can.
Oh yeah, screw it.
No,
Keep
Online.
talking about this. Never mind.
This is what people listening to the CGW podcast want to hear. So.
Yeah, actually, I do think we're probably going to keep talking about this for a while over the weeks, and I do encourage your questions to us on the message board.
Right.
Bring them on. Don't be afraid to ask us the hard ones because we got nothing to hide here. This is we're not blowing smoke here. We're going into this with our eyes open, and we're pretty happy about it. Actually, I got to say.
Other easier to answer questions have been, is this the end of the podcast? Is this the end of some of their favorite columns in the magazine? And the answer to all those is no. It's going to be won't be CGW Radio, but whatever we call it, it's going to be the same.
Sexy time.
The favorite
Windows.
columns remain.
Tom and Bruce will still be there.
Tom and Bruce are still there.
They'll just be doing Minesweeper every month. But hey, they'll be there. So
That
you can't have
actually
everything.
Kind of funny.
That'd be a funny way to kick it off.
Do the first one.
So
Might
many
be sending
people
a
would
bad
not get that,
message.
though.
They wouldn't. Oh my God!
Imagine if you just picked up, you had
Solitaire.
no history with CGW. You pick up a magazine called Official Games for Windows, and you look in, you see a 3-page story on two guys playing Minesweeper. And no matter how funny these guys are, I mean, you'd have to get, I don't think you'd get to the part where you actually read what they have to say about it. You'd see Minesweeper screens.
Yeah.
They put it on the rack.
You know, there's lots of PC games that look worse than
Elf
Minesweeper.
Bowling.
Especially the new Vista Minesweeper.
Oh, yeah, the new Vista Minesweeper.
You play the 3D chess game.
It's Titan Chess 3D.
Titan Chess 3D, man. That's hot.
Yeah.
I just stifled my third burp, by the way.
Good job.
You might as well, I mean, how can you just, you're on the air and you just come in and I'm going to release. That's like your wife's got her friends over for dinner or whatever, for some kind of meeting.
Pull
And
my
you just
finger.
walk into the kitchen, grab a beer out, tear ass, and then just in your socks casually walk back into the bedroom.
You're criticizing me?
I'm just asking if that, I mean, that's,
Well,
that's
no,
what
I
I'm
wouldn't do
getting from
that
this.
in front of my wife's friends. I wouldn't
Okay,
fart.
but in front of your listeners, though,
Yes, I will.
you'll do
I
it
will
right
have-
in their ears.
And the best part is it's like in stereophonic, like.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's almost like a skin fart.
Okay. I'm ashamed now. To everyone listening, I'm sorry I burped.
I had to bring it there. I'm sorry.
I really
And you had to bring it up
I'm
there
really
with
sorry.
a skin fart.
And in fact, somebody on a website said that that's what we do. That we tell
We're too
bad
raunchy.
jokes.
Skin
On the
farting in your
podcast.
face every week.
Sure.
And there I went and I burped. I proved them right.
That's right.
We're too lowbrow here.
We are the Howard Stern. of
Ryan,
gaming.
bring us back to seriousness. That look on your face.
Okay, Ryan, say
Not
something
happy.
intellectual.
We're not pleased.
And that's intellectual.
How would you describe your feelings at this moment?
Johnny
Yeah.
Wilson would not have burped on the podcast.
Right.
But he would have talked about Kierkegaard.
He would have. Yeah.
That's the thing. I think there's a place for, look at Joyce, there's a place for burps and farts no matter how highbrow you go.
Yep.
True.
Anyway, that's
fact,
that's
my
my
burp
ultimate
was-
justification. But
Right, my burp was an homage to Ulysses.
okay.
Okay.
Anyone else stuff to add to the games for Windows legacy?
Or should we-
Good. So I guess we could talk about timing a little bit. Right now we're
Yeah.
looking at the December issue of what would have been CGW being the Games for Windows issue. Unless we have a further update for you here, that is how it's going to be. So we're actually working on October right now.
Mhm.
October. So we're talking about 2 more issues of CGW as it was, and then Games for Windows magazine being the December issue.
Right. I don't think many people have seen September yet, so that's 3. if you're
3
counting
issues
it
of
all.
CGW to go. So you have lots of time for this all to settle in and rattle around in your brain. Remember how we all hated and made fun of Wii? Maybe this will be another one of those. Maybe no
I
one's
think
gonna
any
No one will
name, no
care.
matter how screwy, can become commonplace. I mean, it gets to the
Yeah.
point, like any word, you know, that fundamental disconnect
Yeah.
where you're like, you say any given word enough times, you're like,
Something
what does that
that's
even mean?
Absurd.
Mm-hmm.
So I will absorb it. I mean, America absorbed Yu-Gi-Oh, and all these other Pokemon and nonsense names. And, you know, this one's obviously
I mean,
not Japanese-based, but
well, hell, I mean, Microsoft 360, we laughed at that when it came. I mean, I laughed at
Yeah,
that when
that
it came
was
out.
true.
Right now,
360,
it's
yeah.
just totally.
Now it's just
common.
accepted.
Yep.
Yeah.
360 did totally around the world.
Woo! Spring break!
That's
No matter how you slice it, though, Games for Windows doesn't roll off the tongue.
right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, we had in California the 360 burrito is the name of a taco chain.
I want to
Remember
see,
that?
I
You
want to
seen
see where
that?
this goes.
Well, I'm just saying, like, think of that 360 burrito. Like when you go, hey man, I need a 360 burrito. Anyway,
But how does that help us?
just because
does.
We need-
if
we're
they
gonna
got
need-
people to say that with a straight face, or like Denny's items, the
We got it easy
What are some of the-
comparatively. Moons over Miami.
moons over Miami. Yeah, people
Moons over
ordered
Miami,
that.
the official magazine. Done.
Guess we don't got it so
Pe-
bad after
they got
all.
people. If people were hungry, they ordered it. They said it right to the server.
I ordered that.
Totally do. Rudy Tooty.
Just so I
fresh
can,
and
just so I could say it.
They're hungry.
However, that could be another thing we could ask the listeners. If you have a better name for the magazine, put it on the
That'll be the
message board.
first mail bites
Shecky.
Oh,
the
yeah.
magazine.
Yeah,
for the
that's a good
first
one.
issue. You can
Shecky the magazine.
There's your first one.
There you go. That's my vote.
Ryan, do you have any ideas for a magazine name?
Hell yeah, the magazine.
something with ninjas.
We were talking about calling it Live.
We were talking about that.
Live.
That's way too Xbox. Though.
GW.
That's kind of why
I
we
was
were.
actually voting for
Pursue that.
GW.
GW.
That was one I was getting behind. That way we could fool some Republicans into buying it too.
Uh-huh.
The
I kinda-
Internet.
Game.
Live could have been because of Live Anywhere, right? But then
Yeah,
I
it still
thought
has
if
the
people would
360.
pronounce it Live, and then they would think it was like some,
Some new age
retired
life.
person's connection. Yeah.
They all have a different perception of living.
live.
I'll buy this magazine.
It's all about cryo tanks and
Here's the latest review of the Cryo 2000.
Why are all these games in here?
ginseng.
So maybe
potions.
Maybe we're better off just calling it games for Windows.
Pretty straightforward. You know what you're getting.
Of course, the big argument is Microsoft is pushing this. This is the name of the platform, but is anyone going to call it that? I mean, we could say this now while we're still CGW.
Well, if they're
I'm just
successful,
kidding. We
of
could
course.
say it then too.
If they're successful, I mean, and we've some of you, if you have seen the kiosks that they're starting to roll out, where you got boxes that say the same thing. You've got the sections, and then you can go up and play a demo.
Right,
the PC kiosk, and I mean,
but what I'm asking is, you're in the store with your buddies, and you're trying to decide which Splinter Cell to buy. Say you're going to go, hey, you going to buy that for Xbox or games for Windows?
what about
You're going to say PC,
right? That's true.
Well, you either say PC or maybe just Windows for short.
We'll see.
What about, are we going to
doubt
see
it,
the
though.
first TV ads for games for Windows? I mean, when was the last TV commercial you saw for a PC game? I don't watch that much TV
I know.
game. I mean, TV.
Well,
so.
I usually TiVo right past them, but I think like any time you do see a commercial for a game, it's usually like a multi-platform deal. So they'll have like a billion logos and like.
Oh, dude, the late night. Have you seen the late night one for Star Wars Galaxies for the repackage?
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
It's just,
that was
it's like
it was tragic.
It's almost
man.
like a Ronco commercial, now from only 1999. It's like save the universe, be a Jedi, and then like they show like all
Get some
these
hair in a
other
can.
LucasArts games. Yeah, you can get. I mean, the other SOE games that you get in the big package.
And that's not all.
Yeah, but it's
Order
only
now.
like instead
You'll
of
get Planetside, Matrix Online.
instead of the feast of CG, and the overblown stuff like the Call of Duty ads and the Final Fantasy ads. It's just straight
in game.
like this is it. Yeah, like no lie about it. Like this. Yes,
What
this
you're
looks
getting.
like butt, but this costs butt.
Come on, it's $20.
Did they
Come
say
on,
that? Sure, it looks like
looks
butt.
like butt, costs like butt.
But you get to be a Wookiee.
I wonder if that was successful. I don't know. It runs really late night too, so it's like the fools that are calling the sex lines and stuff are like, God damn, that's cheaper. That's cheaper. $19.99 in one payment.
I could have this phone sex, or I could get
Yeah,
John Tiller's Gettysburg.
as a Wookiee.
Oh no, sorry, wrong game.
Oh.
Nice.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tiller.
Whoa.
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, what is
Wow.
that?
I don't know.
You're trying to say it.
I don't know.
Microsoft told you to say that.
So, Microsoft, they're trying to brand Windows as like the big platform, though. Right?
They are.
Right.
Trying to get us to call it Windows instead of PC.
Well, we do call it Windows, but but it's the gaming part is that I think the problem.
Doesn't quite roll off the tongue, yeah.
Right. I mean, I've never said I play a game for Windows.
Yeah.
Well, what if you
I
just
guess
said?
I will now, though.
Definitely.
Well, I guess
change that soon
uphill
enough.
battle.
I think maybe
Ryan
the
plays
logic
Guild
is
Wars in a window. Okay.
I mean, are you ever going to say, I'm a Windows gamer?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm a Linux gamer.
Well, that's true.
Or a Mac gamer. Although technically you could play Windows on a Mac, but whatever.
All the lines are blurring.
Yeah.
Mass
That's
hysteria.
why Microsoft wants to unblur 'em.
You can have games on Windows on a Mac, and it'll still be games for Windows. It won't be a PC.
true.
Ooh.
That's
It'll
right.
be a Mac.
I'll be reviewing Macs in the magazine when I see that new iMac come out. I'll tell you that much.
So what are we going to do about all our Linux coverage? Oh,
Right.
wait, that's right.
Yeah.
Actually, I was kind of curious
Poor little penguin.
before the podcast. I went over to tuxgames.com to see like what kind of hot new games, new hotness they have up there.
Uh-huh.
Among the top 10 lists is like Alpha Centauri and
Right.
new games like that.
Civilization.
Actually, I think the other magazine should follow suit. So PC Gamer could be like the official Linux gaming magazine, and Computer Games could be like the official Mac gaming magazine. So we all, represent a different platform.
We don't
That's my
enjoy each other.
challenge to those guys.
Like
They'll take you right
Hey,
up on
we've
that.
stepped up.
You pick a side.
I've seen there's some people on our forum who have asked, like, what about like Mac and Linux games?
Right.
It's a great
And
question. What?
I can speak from experience on a Linux thing since I was a big Linux fanatic for about 6 years. if you're playing games on Linux, what the hell is wrong with you?
And there you have it.
That'd make a great box quote.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Ryan Scott.
Already
Games for
I'm-
Windows
Hell is wrong
magazine. Yeah, I've never played a game on Linux.
And as far as Mac games, I mean, I don't know.
I was a Mac gamer back in the day.
Just Photoshop.
There's that
count?
one that I really want to play actually. and I saw it reviewed on Game Life, the internet video show, video review show, and it was like Wingnut 2 or something.
Wingnut 2?
But it looks like a 3D, update to the old 1942 style game, but with using the full graphics power of the Mac, and it looks pretty cool.
All right.
Hey, you know what? The Mac used to have some great games. The Marathon series.
I'll review it. Hook me up with the Mac.
Bungie was all about Mac.
Bungie was a Mac gaming house in the old days.
Wasn't Descent?
Yeah.
Descent originally, I think, started on the Mac. I think you're right about that.
Had its day.
I mean, I started on the Apple II and worked up from there. I just at some point, when did Mac gaming just screech to a halt? I mean,
oh gosh, well, it's been a long time now.
I mean, what, 86?
No. It went on longer than that. I mean, when I started at CGW in 97,
yeah, it was
we still did some Mac stuff. I mean, Interplay had their Mac Play division. Mm-hmm. There were still at least a few, not many.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. I remember up until 93, I was playing stuff on an Apple.
I think the answer to that question actually is that we don't really cover that stuff anyway, right? I mean, the amount of pages we've devoted to Mac or Linux games over the years is what? 1 page total, maybe,
if that,
and that same kind of sterling coverage is probably what you can expect in the new Mac.
Which is just to say that, yeah, I mean, if you're a Linux enthusiast, you weren't subscribing to CGW for those needs in the first place.
That's right. We weren't.
Nothing against it, but it's just it wasn't the magazine for you in the first place. So it's not as though the change is going to suddenly leave you out in the cold.
Right. I mean, if we were covering Mac and Linux stuff beforehand, and all of a sudden magically overnight our coverage dried up to become the official Games for Windows magazine, then yeah, I'd say we're sellouts.
Right.
And in fact, a lot of the internet comment is saying that when people reason it through, they're like, well, gee, I guess that's all really they covered was Windows gaming anyway, or games for Windows. I guess I have to say.
TM.
The other thing that added, I think, to the conspiratorial slant to this whole announcement is that it was a week after E3 kind of transformed into whatever it's going to be this next year, and so everyone's looking at these for signs and portents. It's like the cover for National Enquirer, Nostradamus says that this is the end of the world, so this is as foretelling the next big industry crash or something. So I don't know. I've seen a lot of that. I mean, it's people definitely putting them together. E3 down, CGW down. It's what's next, Right.
Well, actually, the thing is, and there was something else that kind of got under my skin too. There was this flawed reporting that was out there last week that we was trying to combat it. That's saying how not only did we change our name, that we're getting free computers from Microsoft. Man, that would have been great.
That was totally news to me.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Right.
Where did that come from?
Well, you know what? That came from. Jason Cross was talking about on the Quarter to Three threads how
Jason Cross again is
with Extreme Tech, who also does our tech section some of the time.
I know, just for the readers, the listeners,
for the peoples.
Yeah.
No, but what happened was he was talking about how Microsoft sent us, not just us, I should say. They sent people basically the equivalent of debug PCs, kind of a standard test bed for testing out Windows Vista. And we got one, CGW got one, Extreme Tech's getting one up, PC Gamer has one on the way. Even the original places that reported this are on the list to get these machines.
Right, and just again for clarification for readers, magazines and websites that cover PlayStation games and Xbox games and Nintendo games, they get developer boxes so that they can look at games while they're still in progress because they wouldn't run on commercial machines.
Right.
And so this was Microsoft's way of doing the same thing with the PC. They were telling all of the media outlets, not just us, that in order to run Windows Vista for testing purposes, to be able to write about it, we're going to have to give you special machines because your current PCs can't run it.
Well, no, actually, I think the message they weren't actually saying that. What they were saying was
they weren't saying that. Never mind what I had to say.
What are you talking about?
Well, no, what they were trying to say.
Oops.
Wrong.
Damn it.
No, actually, what they were trying to say was they want to have a standardized test bed so they could, say, here's the experience you could expect with this level of machine.
Okay.
So it was a control. It's like a controlled test group.
A controlled test group, right? But that got misinterpreted online as CGW became the Microsoft magazine, and now they all get free PCs, which was ludicrous.
I'm still playing on a 9800 for the record, so.
I'll hook you up.
I know that's supposed to elicit pity. Like a lot of people are like, dude, give it to me when you upgrade.
I have a 6800.
Oh,
Yeah, see?
yeah, but you've got the NVIDIA though.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
have
now
a-
I'm going to just hit up my buddies.
We're
at
about at the
Microsoft
same.
for a free
We're in
code.
the same level.
I have a water-cooled turbojet. Yeah, so that really pissed me off this weekend because I guess as a former hard news journalist, I guess whatever. I mean, I actually fact check my my sources when I write before I write a story, and you just go up and I guess the problem with websites, blog sites, whatever, is that you're in such a hurry to get up online and just scoop everyone else. You don't bother doing your basic reporting skills.
Well, the few times that I've lost my temper or patience this past week since the announcement has been for that exact reason. It's when I'll read reports online, and basically they've like interviewed other people, and not me or anyone at Ziff Davis at all. And it's like, hi, I'm sitting kind of right here on email on the phone, and if you had a question, you could have asked me. And actually, I'm still putting that out there. If anybody out there is like running a website or any kind of source and they have questions, you know where to find me.
Yeah, we're all pretty easy to reach, so send a question.
Just making an easy one.
So when do we get the free PCs?
Next
Yeah.
week.
On the way.
All right, have we done enough of this for today?
Oh yeah.
I think so.
Suppose we have.
But
45 minutes.
like we've been saying, please keep asking us questions because we're all open about this, and I think over time we can all see this as a good thing. The one big bummer here, there's just no denying a long, great, awesome history for the CGW name, but the bigger picture is we're still here. Really, same magazine, just a new name. The name itself is being retired, and that's it. Until they throw me out.
The last question for a couple weeks down the road is that people have is how are we going out? Are we going to give the longtime readers a little something special, a little something?
I'm thinking
something.
I'm thinking Slim Pickens riding the bomb on the way down.
That's the final page.
That's a good question. Do we do a big goodbye CGW or not? I don't know.
But people keep writing
us.
in.
Yeah,
Tell us what you want.
Tell us, what do you want
to
to
see in the final issue of the magazine called CGW?
Just know we're not going to give you all the stories of favorite interns and this and that.
Right, we're
and
not
how
going
they-
to do our own horn tooting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff that we could do, like we were talking. Like, I mean, if a big magazine like Rolling Stone or something hits an anniversary mark or something, and they take a serious look at what defined the magazine over the years or something, I think that's cool. But if it just uses as a chance to pull out whatever bric-a-brac and anecdotes we've had sitting around about,
We could bring other writers in or game developers.
Well, we did a
that
great
might be cool. We'll get
tell us what you think
developers
about
and let
us.
other people say what they thought. That's a fair way to
enough
do
about
it.
me.
Enough about me. What do you think of me?
Right. I think that's probably a pretty cool idea.
Title for the article.
Well, I mean,
I'm sold on this. Let's do it.
done. Book it. No, actually,
Okay.
we actually did this for issue 250. So I mean, like we did a great job then, and I wouldn't mind revisiting that before we go out. Go
Let
out
them,
bang.
they want to talk shit. Tell us what they wish.
Call us on reviews.
Maybe we'll bring Johnny
Say it.
back. Huh?
Get Johnny,
Johnny
in there.
have some final
Exactly.
words.
Exactly. That would be good. And it
Okay.
would be an interesting read.
Let's try to do that. Yeah.
All right.
So you just sat in on the editorial meeting.
How does it feel?
Yeah.
That's how we work.
I think I actually got more accomplished right now.
Should we let Viderman write something too?
Yeah.
Love you, Greg.
Love you, buddy.
Okay. No, really, I do.
A little too much.
Now it's getting all.
Now we're getting a little
silent.
loopy.
He's sexy. Okay.
So let's moving
Let's
along.
move on. Did we actually, besides this, play any games? Probably quickly. We've been talking a long time already, like an hour.
Ironically, yes.
Ironically?
Ironically, I played a freeware game called Flame War this weekend.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Was it good?
It's part of the experimental gameplay project.
Just like real life.
Just like real life. No, actually, it's kind of funny. They have like levels are broken up by websites. There's like somethingawful.com and /. And you go through these, and basically the idea is it's like a first-person shooter perspective. So you actually have like this flame jet that comes out of your character, and you have to flame other people.
Wow.
It's kind of weird, but it's like a dopey little game. But I thought it was kind of
Okay.
fun, and it seemed appropriate.
Torch them.
Torch them all.
Ryan?
I'm playing Eve.
Still playing Eve.
And by
Wow.
playing, I mean I'm logged out. Well, some skills are shown.
Oh, you mean you're playing right now?
Yeah.
You still doing
When
that?
was the last time
that
you
joke
logged in?
never
Well-
gets old.
Interesting news
Wow.
story on the GM in EVE Online who was caught basically hooking himself up,
Oh, yeah.
hooking his
Yeah.
character up.
Oh, he
with
had like a
all-
1-month-old character with a bunch of stuff he there was
Couldn't
no way he
possibly.
That
could
it would have
gotten.
taken years to have acquired.
Yeah.
So what they do?
Cheater.
So what do they do to them? Just kind of kick them off. That's it. You're fired, or is there more to
No,
it?
they're still trying to get the stuff back, which is really crazy. Like reacquisition, like they got
Right,
virtual
they got
repo men in their own game. It's like it's not like they can't.
That's
All right,
awesome.
we'll delete you because it would like alter the economy or something. Is the stuff? It's like we need to get this stuff back.
So is there some kind
It
of
legitimately exists in this
That's
universe, so we've
really
got to like
bizarre.
reappropriate it, do what we want with
Can't
it,
they just
and then we
delete
can
it,
like.
delete those bits and then
do they need like
They
an
got basic
type
laws
in
of
new
physics
ones?
And they're
to deal
not
with
killing
too.
his account, which sounded really. I mean, it's kind of cool depending on the way you look at it. It's like we're going to take the stuff back. He's obviously not going to be a GM, but he's going to just have to be another yokel with a 1-month-old account.
so this is like a glitch in the Matrix.
But that's a good way of punishing him. It's like people walk
Oh,
by and then
sorry.
he's in this little like
That's
crappy,
not- oh.
crappy starship, and they're like, "Ha you're the fool who ripped off all that stuff, you little stupid punk." They blow him up,
and now he's a prime target.
Yeah, they blow his ass up.
So is there some kind of like interstellar repo man, like in a tow truck, that's going to come over and try to like jack his gear?
Well,
Yeah.
that'd be, you can set bounties on people in the game as
I
well.
wonder if there's a lot of
got
people
quite
doing
a few
that.
on him right now.
I bet.
And that's the stuff that makes me think that game is rad. But if it really just amounts to a bunch of like,
Progress
you type
quest?
in all this stuff in, so it's basically fanfic. We're talking about like Repo Man cruising through these rad 3D
God,
star
how
systems,
awesome would that
blowing
be?
stuff up. And
Hanging
really,
out
it's
with
like,
your group, and then a truck pulls up.
yeah, really though, it's just like
You
someone
frickin'
typing,
slacker.
"Hey, can you send me that starship back along with the 40,000 your token credits and
Please. Is Ralphie a repo man in this game?
We
That's
really
not
need
Ralphie,
it back.
man.
Ralphie's not here this week.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I tried to play that game. I don't want to diss it. Well, I don't want to, but I tried.
But you're about to.
Well, I downloaded it. I got my 14-day account, and the tutorial for that thing's like 2 hours or something. It's like endless.
I told
Maybe I'm
you,
exaggerating.
No, it is. Hey, did you get out of the hangar?
I got out of the hangar. I
Oh, and
finally
when you
got
get-
my ship, but as soon as you get out,
That little meter resets,
it
and it's
puts
like,
you right
oh.
back in. Like the hangar finally opens. You're going, yes.
It's like
finally
you're-
I get to be in space, and now they go, now let's practice docking.
Mom,
Yeah.
can I go out and play?
No, I just got outside. Come on.
You're asking your
Yeah.
mom to go out and play all day, and then she says, "Well, when you do the dishes," and then she opens the door.
Yeah.
She's like, "Psych!"
Or it's, or it's
Come
like,
on back in.
or it's like
That's
pitch,
what it was
pitch
like.
black. Come on back in.
You forgot your shoes. Yeah. So I had to go back in the hangar, and really, that's when I gave it up. Like, screw it.
Ryan, sell us accounts where you've already gotten psyched in and out of the hangar. We'll start from there.
Yeah. Can I just skip it? Can I skip
You
the
could.
tutorial?
You could.
Would you recommend it?
It's probably something you need
Has
to
it
go
helped
through
you?
once.
Like,